If we look at Revelation chapter 4, we see this in verse 1. After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I had heard, like the sound of a trumpet speaking with me, said, Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after these things. Immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was standing in heaven. What we see here is a picture of the rapture. John was on earth with the church in the church age, but now we hear the voice with the sound of a trumpet, and we see that voice calling John up. That's the picture of the church coming up into heaven. And what happens to John is he finds himself in the Spirit. He is now not in his old body, but he's now in his resurrected body. And as he enters into heaven, he sees the throne of God. So it's a perfect picture of what the rapture looks like. It's a picture of being on earth, hearing the voice of Jesus in the air, and going up, being transformed in the blink of an eye into a new resurrected body, which is now in heaven before the throne. One of the things we're going to notice as we start reading through here is that at this point in Revelation, we will not see the church again until chapter 19. So in other words, from chapter 4, when the church is raptured into heaven, until chapter 19, when the church comes down with Jesus after the wedding feast of the Lamb, we're going to not see the church at all. And why is that? That's because chapter 4 at the beginning is speaking about the rapture. The church is no longer on earth. Now what's taking place on earth is going to be the 7-year tribulation period. And the church is not going to be involved with that. Now you might say, but I've heard the church is going to go through the tribulation period. If we read through our Bible, we see in several places that Jesus says he's going to protect us from that. In fact, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 10, we see that Jesus is going to protect us from the wrath to come. And again, in Revelation chapter 3, we see that Jesus says to his good church, his missionary church, that he's going to protect them from the wrath to come. So Jesus is constantly telling us that his church is going to be protected from the wrath to come. Therefore, the church will not have to go through the tribulation period, which is the wrath of God, which we will talk about in a next video. But right now, we see that the church is taken up into heaven. And up in heaven, the church is before the throne of God. When we read through the book of Revelation, we're going to get a chance to see what that throne of God looks like. What is going on here in heaven?